Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurfarzana Izzati binti Abdul Rahman. My matrix number is 23DIB19F2010. This is the content. Number 1 is introduction. Number 2, define salam. Number 3, describe condition of valid salam. Number 4, explain and relate the modern application of salam to Islamic banking products. Number 5, describe the condition of subject matters. And the last but not least is explain the difference between salam and istisna. Okay, next. This is an introduction. This contract is crucial during the time of prophethood and at the time where agricultural sector become outstanding and supreme. The wisdom of making salam permissible lies in the fact that salam facilitates types of financing for people in need of it. By using salam contract, the buyer may benefit from its permissibility as well by acquiring the commodity at a price below the market price. Okey, baik, di sini saya nak terangkan bahawa kontrak ini sangat penting pada zaman Nabi ketika sektor pertanian dia dah jadi unggul. Jadi, kebijaksanaan membuat salam ni dia memudahkan sejenis pembiayaan untuk orang yang memerlukannya. Okay, kontrak salam ni juga, pembeli pun dapat peroleh keuntungan dari itu dengan memperoleh komoditi tersebut dengan harga di bawah pasaran. Alright, the next is definition of salam. Salam literally means giving at once and leaving. Bal al-salam or salam means a contract in which at once cash payment is made for goods to be delivered later on. The seller undertakes to supply some specific good to the buyer at a future date in exchange of an at once price fully paid at the time of contract. Salam also known as sell by order. Okey, baik. Di sini maksud salam ni ialah memberi, memajukan dan meninggalkan. Okay, kontrak salam ni di mana pembayaran tunai pendahuluan dibuat untuk barang yang akan dihantar kemudian. Maksudnya kita kena bayar dahulu sebelum barang dihantar. Di sini penjual juga berjanji untuk membekalkan beberapa barang dengan tertentu kepada pembeli pada tarikh yang akan datang sebagai pertukaran harga pendahuluan yang dibayar sepenuhnya pada masa kontrak. Dan salam ni juga dikenali sebagai penjualan mengikut pesanan. Okey, maksud lain bagi salam juga, kita perlu diketahui bahawa salam tidak boleh dibatalkan selepas ditandatangani. Itu maksudnya kita dah confirm order, so kita dah tak boleh batal sesuka hati kita. Dan penjual dan pembeli masing-masing dikenali sebagai al-muslam ilahi dan al-muslim atau rab al-salam. Okay, the next is condition of valid salam. For the salam contract to be valid, it is necessary that the buyer makes payment in full to the seller at the spot. If it's not paid in full, the basic purpose will not be achieved. The quantity and quality of salam good should be exactly specified, leaving no ambiguity as it may result in a dispute. Okay, this product, the type and kinds of goods involved in the track. The period is the duration of the contract and its date of delivery. The price is the amount of capital or price paid for the contract. The place is place of delivery for the merchandise when it is due. The quality is the characteristic and specification of every items. And the last but not least is quantity, the quantity of good order by the buyer. Okay, di sini saya nak terangkan bahawa kontrak salam ni sah, tapi pembeli kena buat pembayaran sepenuhnya kepada penjual di tempat tu. Sekiranya tidak dapat dibayar sepenuhnya, maksudnya tujuan asasnya tu tidak akan tercapai, maksudnya batal salam tu. Okey, seterusnya kuantiti dan kualiti salam tu mestilah tepat untuk tidak menimbulkan kekaburan kerana dia boleh mengakibatkan perselisihan. Okay, sebagai contoh, batu permata tu tak dapat dijualkan berdasarkan kontrak salam. Sebab setiap batunya berbeza dari segi kualitas dia, ukuran dia, berat dan spesifikasi yang tepat tu tak mungkin. Okey, daripada segi jenis produk pula, produk ni dia terlibat dalam perdagangan. Dari segi tempoh dia pula, dia akan bagi tempoh kontrak dan tarikh penghantaran. Maksudnya kita akan tahulah barang tu akan sampai bila, apa semua. Okey, dari segi tempat pula, tempat penghantaran barang ni dia ditetapkan. Maksudnya kita kena hantar alamat kita supaya barang tu sampai di tempat kita. Tetapi sekiranya terdapat kelewatan penghantaran barang, pembekal membayar sejumlah wang sebagai denda kepada pembeli. Jumlah ini mesti digunakan untuk tujuan amal dan bukan untuk digunakan oleh pembeli. Okey, barang ni juga merupakan satu risiko penjual sebelum penghantaran. Risiko ni akan dipindahkan kepada pembeli. Maksudnya tugas kita untuk hantar barang tu, so itu jadi risiko kepada kita. Tapi bila kita dah hantar barang tu kepada pembeli kita, so risiko tu akan dipindahkan juga kepada pembeli.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Shuaidah binti Azhar. My matric number F2064. I will like to explain a little the modern application of Salam to Islamic banking product. This concept rarely used by Islamic bank because it does not facilitate many advantages as compared to other concepts. The price of purchase commodities in Salam should be paid in advance while the subject matter will be delivered at a later date. In general, it clearly differs from numerous Islamic bank products which provide better foundation for the customer who are in need, in which they will obtain the desired commodity with a different payment term. Islamic banking products which are based on this concept are hybrid Salam financing, Salam financing working capital, parallel Salam financing. Hybrid Salam financing, seller, bank, customer. The bank will advance cash to the farmer on the conclusion of the contract of delivery of crop during the harvest period. In the original mode of Salam financing, the bank will receive commodity from the farmer or client and not money. Salam financial working capital. Customer A, bank, group of purchaser. Also known as Salam, an Islamic finance technique used to provide working capitals to parties on terms compliant with Sharia. As a result, the seller receives the fund needed to manufacture the asset or meet its other financial needs. Islamic finance cannot depend on the conventional technique of capital budgeting because of interest. So Islamic finance ni dia tak boleh nak depend sangat dekat conventional technique of capital budget sebab ni ada interest yang tinggi. Where finances are required for the working capital of running business, the instrument of musyakarah may be used in the following manner. The capital of the running business may be evaluated with meter concept. Macam musyakarah lah. Dalam konsep musyakarah, that is not necessary according to Imam Malik that the capital of musyakarah is contribute in cash form. Non-liquid asset can also form part of the capital on the basis of evaluation. For example, the total value of the business A is 30 unit, B finance another 20 unit, raising the total worth jadi tu 50 unit. 40% having been contributed by B and 60% by A. It is agreed that B shall get 20% of the actual profit. At the end of the term, the total worth of the business has increased to 100 unit. Now, kalau diorang share share of B is purchased by A, he should have paid to him 40 units because dia dapat 40% of the asset daripada bisnes dia. But in order to reflect the agreed ratio of profit in the price of his share, the formula of pricing will be different. Any increase in the value of the business should be divided between the parties in the ratio of 20% and 80% because the ratio was determined in the contract of the purpose of distribution of profit. Third, parallel salam financial. Bank customer dengan C of A and B. In an agreement of parallel salam, the bank enters into two different contracts. In one of them, the bank is the buyer and the second of one of the bank is the seller. Each one of these contracts must be independent of the other. They cannot be tied up in manner that the rights and obligation of one contract are dependent on the right and obligation of the parallel contract. Each contract should have its own force and its performance should not be contingent on the other. Parallel salam is allowed with a third party only. The seller in the first contract cannot be made purchasing in the parallel contract of salam because it will be a buyback contract which is not permission in syariah. Maksudnya dalam parallel salam ni dia allowed with third party iaitu orang ketiga. Tapi yang the seller dalam first contract tu tak boleh purchase in the parallel contract of salam sebab dia akan jadi buyback contract. Tapi dalam syariah benda tu tak boleh. Even if the purchaser in the second contract is separate legal entity but it is fully owned by the seller in the first contract, the agreement will not be allowed because in practical term it will amount to buyback agreement. For example, A has purchased 1,000 bag of wheat by way of salam from B, a joint stock company. B has a subsidiary C, which is a separate legal entity but is fully owned by B. A cannot contract a parallel salam with C. However, C is not wholly owned by B. A can contract parallel salam with it, even if some shareholder are common between B and C. That's all. Thank you. Itu sajalah. Sekian. Terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera to Madam and all my friends. My name is Aisya Shafika binti Zahra Afendi. My matric number is 2014. So now I will continue about condition of subject matter. Conditions of subject matter is divided into two. That is condition related to the price ras al-mal and condition related to the purchases commodity musallam fi. Condition related to the price ni lebih kepada harga dan condition related to the purchases commodity ni dia macam produk. Maksud komoditi ni ialah barang yang mempunyai permintaan dan yang dibekalkan tanpa perbezaan kualitatif merentasi pasaran. Condition related to the price ras al-mal. The first one is the price must be clearly determined and paid in full by the buyer at that time of concluding the sale to avoid a later dispute. Maksudnya, harga mesti ditentukan dengan jelas dan dibayar sepenuhnya oleh pembeli pada saat penjualan terakhir untuk mengelakkan berlaku pertikaian. Jadi, penjual ni dia kena deal betul-betul harga yang dia bagi pada pembeli tu supaya nanti tak berlaku pertikaian. The second one is, the seller on other hand must take possession of the price in full before leaving. Maksudnya, penjual mesti mengambil harga sepenuhnya sebelum pergi. So, dekat sini, pembeli ni dia kena bayar terlebih dahulu. The third one is, it will be tantamount to the sale of debt for a debt which is prohibited by the Prophet SAW and against the wisdom and purpose for which it has been made permissible. Maksudnya,
Ini sama dengan penjualan hutang untuk hutang yang dilarang oleh Nabi SAW dan bertentangan dengan kebijaksanaan dan tujuan yang mana ia telah dibenarkan. Number 4 is the Maliki jurist allowed payment within a few days as long as the deferment is not stipulated as a condition. Maksudnya, ahli hukum Maliki membenarkan pembayaran dalam beberapa hari selagi penangguhan tersebut tidak ditetapkan sebagai syarat. Next, if the price is ribawi item, it is not allowed to be exchanged for another ribawi item based on a salam contract to avoid riba al-fadlu and riba an-nasyah. Maksudnya, sekiranya harganya adalah harta ribawi, tidak dibenarkan untuk tukar dengan barang ribawi lain berdasarkan kontrak salam untuk mengelakkan riba al-fadlu dan riba an-nasyah. Barang ribawi ni dia macam emas dengan emas, gandum dengan gandum, dia mesti sama. Riba an-nasyah atau riba an-nasa merupakan jual beli atau pertukaran dua barangan ribawi yang sama jenis dan pertukaran tersebut dibuat secara tangguh, tidak sempurna dalam satu masa. Okey, contohnya Aminah ni dia beli emas seberat 6 gram dengan harga 1,000 secara tangguh. Maksudnya, dia ambil emas hari ini dan dia bayar bulan depan. Seterusnya, riba al-fadlu merupakan jual beli atau pertukaran antara dua barangan ribawi yang sama jenis dengan berbeza kadar berat jika dijual dengan timbang atau kuantiti jika dijual secara bilangan kuantiti. Contohnya, menukar 10 gram emas jenis 916 dengan 12 gram emas jenis kualiti 750. Pertukaran jenis ni adalah haram sebab kedua-duanya mesti sama timbangan, iaitu 10 gram dengan 12 gram. Kalau berbeza kualiti, dia tak beri apa-apa kesan kepada hukum. Dia mesti sama berat walaupun berbeza kualiti dan harganya. The last one is the exchange of wearable goods such as wheat for another wearable goods such as barley cannot be done through a salam contract. Maksudnya, pertukaran barang yang boleh ditimbang seperti gandum dengan barang timbang lain seperti barley tidak boleh dilakukan oleh kontrak salam. Macam yang kita cakap tadi lah, dia mesti sama. Kalau emas mesti dengan emas, kalau gandum mesti dengan gandum. So now, I will explain the condition related to the purchases commodity musallam fi. The first one is, a salam contract can be effected on the commodity whose quality and quantity can be clearly specified. Maksudnya, kontrak salam ni, dia boleh dilakukan terhadap komoditi yang kualiti dan kuantitinya dapat ditentukan dengan jelas. The second one is, the commodities whose quality or quantity is not determined by specification cannot be sold through a salam contract. Maksudnya, komoditi yang kualiti dan kuantitinya tidak ditentukan oleh spesifikasi tidak boleh dijual melalui kontrak salam. Maksudnya, salam ni dia mesti jelas. Apa yang kita nak jual tu mesti jelas. Kualiti dengan kuantiti yang kita nak jual tu. The third one is, the commodity must be what is freely available in the market. Maksudnya, komoditi mestilah yang boleh didapati secara bebas di pasaran. Next, as for urut that is other than gold and silver, the majority of scholars are of opinion that if its quality and quantity can be normally specified, then it can be sold through a salam contract. Maksudnya, untuk urut ni, selain daripada emas dan perak, majoriti sarjana berpendapat bahawa jika kualiti dan kuantiti dapat ditentukan secara normal, maka dapat dijual melalui kontrak salam. And then, they differ in what can be specified in quantity and quality. Maksudnya, perbezaan benda ni dapat ditentukan dalam kuantiti dan kualiti. Number 6 is, the quantity of the commodity must be agreed upon in unequivocal terms. Maksudnya, kuantiti komoditi mesti dipersetujui dengan jelas. Number 7, if the commodity is weightable, its weight must be determined, and if it is measurable, its exact measure should be known. Maksudnya, sekiranya barang itu boleh ditimbang, beratnya mesti ditentukan, dan jika dapat diukur, ukuran mesti diketahui. Okay, the last one is, what is usually weighed by the trader cannot be stated in other measures or vice versa. Maksudnya, apa yang biasanya ditimbang oleh peniaga tidak dapat dinyatakan dalam ukuran lain atau sebaliknya. So, yang ni di macam nombor 7 tadilah. Kalau barang tu boleh ditimbang, so mesti ditimbang. Dia tak boleh guna dalam ukuran lain. So, this is our last slide. I will talk about differences between of salam and istisna. Bai' as-salam and bai' istisna are both deferred delivery contract. However, both instruments have its own application. Salam is equivalent to a forward sales for agricultural products, while istisna is a forward sales for manufacturing or construction contract. Okay, maksudnya dekat sini, bai' as-salam dengan bai' istisna ni adalah kedua-dua kontrak penghantaran yang ditangguhkan, namun kedua-dua mempunyai aplikasi sendiri. Salam adalah forward sale untuk produk pertanian dan istisna pula ialah forward sale untuk kontrak pembuatan atau pembinaan. Maksud forward sale ni ialah penjualan sesuatu yang akan diberikan kepada pembeli pada tarikh tertentu pada masa akan datang. Maksudnya, macam buyer ni akan ambil barang dengan kita berapa-berapa untuk next month. Dia macam order lah, tapi dia akan ambil next month. Itu adalah forward sale. So the difference between bai' as-salam and bai' istisna is, for bai' as-salam, the first one is salam can be effected on anything, no matter whether it needs manufacturing or not. While bai' istisna, the subject of istisna is always a thing which needs manufacturing. Okay, bai' salam ni boleh dilakukan pada apa jua perkara, tidak kira ia perlukan pembuatan atau tidak. Manakala bai' istisna ni memerlukan pembuatan. Okay, so the second one for bai' as-salam is, it is necessary for salam that the price is paid in full in advance, while bai' istisna, payment for istisna can be made in staggered basis. Okay, so untuk salam ni, dia mesti bayar terlebih dahulu. Kalau istisna ni boleh bayar secara ansur-ansur atau berperingkat. Okay, the last one is, the contract of salam, once effected, cannot be cancelled unilaterally, while istisna, the contract of istisna can be cancelled before the manufacturer starts the work. So, maksudnya untuk bai' as-salam ni, setelah dilaksanakan atau dah kerja-kerja tu dah start, dia tak boleh cancel. Kalau istisna ni boleh dibatalkan sebelum penghilang memulakan kerja. And salam ni juga, kalau dah buat perjanjian, dia tak boleh cancel. Kalau istisna ni, dia boleh cancel kalau bagi notice. Tapi kalau pembinaan tu dah start, dia dah tak boleh cancel lah.